Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Triforce podcast, featuring Lewis Brindley,
Hello.
Pyrion Flax,
What's up?
and me, Brian.
How are you, Brian?
Kind of new here. Just hoping that we could just
Do you want us to fill you in?
tell each other a little bit about ourselves and stuff.
I'll tell you what. Let's give you a little rundown of how this works, okay?
Right. Yeah.
If you're new, the first thing you pay us to appear on the podcast because this is like for exposure, okay?
Oh,
so
shit. Okay.
It's for every person that listens to the podcast, you give us £100.
Right. But there's a problem straight away. I only have bitcoins.
Well, I only take sexual favors as currency.
For him,
you know, because bitcoins could crash any time, whereas a blowjob's always a blowjob.
That's in the bank.
God,
it's very consistent.
Shit, you know what? I think you might have solved something there, Lulu.
The currency
the value
crisis.
of sexual favors is never going to diminish. Like, it's probably the most stable currency the world has. It appeals to almost everybody. Why haven't we been doing it this way all along?
Everyone's going to need it.
It would really make you think before you bought a new sofa as well, the things you'd have to do for a new sofa.
Yeah.
This week only at DFS. £1,000 for a sofa, or blow us a couple of times.
Blow these two guys.
A little tiny bit of anal. just a smidge of anal, and the sofa is yours.
McDonald's going to take your order, please. 3 Happy Meals, please, and a large quarter pounder with cheese. That'll be 2 hand jobs and a rimming.
That'll be 1 bukkake on you, of course.
So you might not be able to tell, but I have bronchitis. I am dying of bronchitis.
Well done. Can people die from that?
No, it's like you've had worse. We've had worse. I've had worse. I feel fine, but when I laugh, I die.
Where is bronchitis on the spectrum, though? Like, what's worse than it?
Worse than it is pneumonia. And better than it is a cold.
I had pneumonia when I was smaller. Does that make me the winner?
Yeah, that's definitely worse. If you've had pneumonia, that's because it's lower down in the lungs. It's pretty bad, pneumonia.
Pretty bad.
You don't want to get
I had
that.
appendicitis when I was a kid. That was pretty bad.
Oh, no. Do you have to have it out?
You can die from that. Yeah, I did, yeah.
You can, it can poison you.
Yeah,
a girl at my school had it, and she was screaming like I've never heard anyone scream before.
It's really bad.
Like,
I was like 7 years old, I think. I remember it. So this is when we were in the States, and I remember waking up and my stomach was really painful and I felt really sick. And I went to go and see my parents in their room, and I was sick outside their door. And my mum opened the door and she was like,
"That's when you know
right?"
someone's going to take it seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, "Whoop!" And then
There's like those certain warning signs, right? Where first, because normally people think, "Oh, I'm a bit sick. Don't worry about it. I'll get better." And then there's that one thing that happens. And you're like, "Okay,
yeah, this isn't normal."
This is
and then
this is probably go to the doctor now."
Because she used to be a nurse, so she knows a bit. She was like, "Right, lie down," and I was like complaining about my stomach, and she pushed the part of my stomach where your appendix is, which is like on the right hand side, and I was like, "Ah!" So she was like, "All right, that's the appendix." So she had to try and get me to the hospital because if you call an ambulance, it's like very expensive, right? So we were going to get a cab to the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, is this here in America?
Yeah, in New York. So
good old America.
I know, isn't it a great system?
What a wonderful system.
Land of the free, home of the brave cab takers when you're sick because you can't afford
Guys,
it.
that's why they have the most competitive ambulances in the world. Theirs can fly. They can go through time. They're rocket powered because, the competition has led to far better ambulances than we have. And they can go underwater as well. And they can transform. They go, you only have to give them a power cube. And away they go. Like that's the system works.
I mean, the last thing you want to do as well is call an ambulance and have to pay for it on the spot with a blowjob when you've got your appendix.
Yeah, right.
Like,
she'd have to be like, turn around, don't look at mummy, sucking off the ambulance man. This is for your own good.
Yeah. Do you think they have like commercials because it's like privatized and there's competition and stuff? Do you think they have commercials like, next time you need an ambulance, look no further than Crazy Eddie's ambulance service? That's right, boys and girls. We got it all. Sirens, medical supplies, bed inside the ambulance.
You order one ambulance and we bring you 2. That's right. For a limited time only, 2 ambulances for the price of 1.
But that's not all. You guys may have heard about my competitor. Crazy Eddie and his ambulances. Here at Vinny's ambulances, let me tell you something. Forget about it. These are the best ambulances you guys ever seen. You never seen ambulances like this.
Maron, you want to hear the siren on this bitch?
Hey, you get in our ambulance, you get a plate of gabagool right off the bat. Plate of gabagool for free. Second of all,
we even got an oven. We got an oven in the back of the ambulance with my wife Zeddy.
I got a tray of my wife Zeddy right here on the passenger seat. Go ahead, tuck in. Carmelo, make some fucking ziti for the guy. His fucking legs hanging off. Come on.
And for the kids, we got a little pot of bonbons for them as well. The little fucking bonbons up in this.
Bonbons. Kids love bonbons. Yeah. We got it. Only here at Vinny's Ambulance Services. Hey.
It's a 1-800-FUCK you. That's right. 1-800 go fuck yourself.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's probably how it works. So you've had your appendix removed. Lewis, have you had any body parts removed in your life?
I've had like 4 wisdom teeth removed and 4 other teeth removed. So I've got I've only got 4 teeth total left.
Jesus,
in my mouth.
Jesus,
that's why
Christ.
you do that old man toothless voice so well, because you literally are
a
toothless.
Yeah, I notice occasionally a couple of whistles. That must be coming from the cavernous spaces between your teeth that you still have.
I've just got a very small mouth. It makes, it's not a good thing to have in a blowjob-based economy as well.
No, yeah, God, it's got a petite mouth. We're looking for somebody who's got a really, really tiny dick so that this man can suck you off. He can't accept anything bigger than a microscopic penis, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, so your mouth is too small to bank with us. It's impossible.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
Hey, so I've had my gallbladder removed. Do you guys know what that is? Or what it even does?
Not really. No.
So it's like a little fucking sack of bile.
Sounds important, to be honest.
It's not, though. That's the thing. Like, we don't need it anymore.
How many things are in us that we don't need?
Well, gallbladder is definitely one of them, because I've been fine for the past, 8 years without one.
Wait till you need all that gall. You're going to be...
one day, Sips.
I wish I had some gall.
Fucking I could do with some gall right now.
No, I had, this... it's a genetic thing, apparently. I had, some of the bile was crystallized inside my gallbladder, and when you eat something that's really high in fat, because when we were cavemen, we didn't eat a lot of fat, but when we did eat fat, it was a huge amount in one go. Yeah. So the idea was that your gallbladder would activate, pump out some more bile into your stomach to help you, break down the fat.
For those of you who didn't know, Sips and Pyrion are pretty old, so there was a time when they were actually cavemen.
That's right, yeah. So,
we remember it.
So back in the day, I needed one. But yeah, so fucking, there's it was crystallized, and there's this little tiny fucking tube that's super duper sensitive. And when the gallbladder goes to do its thing, it was trying to push little rocks through it, and holy fuck. I used to live close to the hospital. I was up in the night, and same as Pyrion, I was barfing and everything. I was like, what the fuck? I'm dying. I've never felt this horrible in my whole life. I was in pain. I was crying a bit. I was barfing. So I went over to the emergency room, and they were like, oh shit, you might have had a heart attack or something. I was like, what the fuck? I'm 25 years old. How the hell have I had a heart attack? And they're like, oh, well, you never know. So they checked me for all this stuff. And they're like, nah, you haven't had a heart attack. You can go home. It's like, oh, what the fuck, though? I'm still in a lot of pain, and I've been barfing and stuff. Nah, well, we can't do anything for you. All right, thanks. It was pretty weird. But then I went to the doctors. He's like, yeah. They gave me an ultrasound, saw all this crystallized stuff, and then they just, keyhole surgery, bam, removed my gallbladder.
You felt better?
They gave me, a little cup at the end with, all of the fucking, hardened crystals. They were gross. Holy shit. They looked like rotten teeth. It was really.
Oh my
they
God!
Were
I thought
clicking
they
around inside this thing. Yeah,
that's weird because I didn't know what they would like. But I mean, it's a common thing to have stones, isn't it? Gallstones, I guess they are. But also, you can get kidney stones, can't you? And other types.
Kidney stones are pretty bad too.
Yeah. I think
gallstones fairly common, but it's more common in older people.
I think those are the little they look like little stars, don't they? Like little snowflakes or something, but quite big.
Yeah.
And I think they're supposed to be very painful. It's one of the most painful things, apart from childbirth, is to have kidney stones and trying to pass them.
Oh God, yeah, because nothing but pee is meant to go up that pee tube.
Exactly, especially
not. Oh God,
up it.
You're trying to pee a golf ball out of your dick. No way.
Yeah, go. Jeez. It says here, according to Chinese medicine, the gallbladder is seen as the seat of decision making, right? Which I think you've had your gallbladder removed, and I think that says a lot about you, Sips.
Can I just say, I don't want to spread around the lies of alternative medicine, even as a joke. I think it should be a topic that we do not journey towards, because down that path lies anti-vaxxing,
angry
and
period
bullshit.
flags.
I get furious about people who
Yelling.
say, you know
Full
what?
of bile and gall.
My gallbladder is enormous as a result of all this bullshit that I have to hear. All this bile is just stored up. I'm just waiting for someone to come up to me and say, I hope you didn't vaccinate your kids, and I will vomit bile in their face. Black bile.
All over the place, yeah. Oh, man. I can't think of anything that smells worse than bile, though. God, it's so gross. Fuck
It's
me.
pretty bad.
It's really,
Well, I mean,
really rank.
you haven't got anywhere to store it anymore, the bile.
Yeah, it's
That's
just-
the whole
No,
point,
like your
right?
stomach produces it too, though, hotshot.
Where you keeping it?
Yeah, where are you putting all that bile?
I keep it in an old can of Coke and I just drink it down.
Oh, man.
Just on the side.
Just like tabs missing. Like, don't drink that. What is it? Don't touch it. It's my bile. I need it.
Yeah. Don't touch
Yeah.
daddy's bile.
I might have to eat some cheese later, so I'm going to wash it down with what's in this can
I
of
gotta
Coke.
break it. I gotta break this down somehow, kids. Jeez, I'm gonna die if I eat this cheese.
So no, don't worry, P-Flex, we're not going to go into complimentary.
Don't call it complimentary. Don't call it complimentary.
Why?
That's like a nice thing to say about something, isn't it? That was very complimentary. It's bullshit. Call it bullshit.
Right, okay.
What's the scope for this stuff though? You're talking about like the drops and like the fucking.
I'm talking
crystals,
if anyone tells you
acupuncture,
that any of that
you
shit, any of that shit,
right?
right?
You include all of it.
Oh, the whole thing, the whole pantheon.
What about the Alexander technique?
What's
Have
that?
you heard of that?
What's that?
It's it's kind of like a technique that sort of teaches you to retrain your posture and stuff because they think that a lot of like illnesses, like modern day illnesses, are caused by people like slumped over at desks for like 12 hours.
Is there
a day
any
and stuff.
science to back this up?
Probably not. No,
Then I don't fucking care.
you just don't give a shit about it
If you
at all.
can't test it, it doesn't exist. If you can't test that it works, there's no point saying it worked for my mate Terry. Like, I don't give a fuck. Or fuck
That's
Terry.
not scientific enough.
It's not scientific. The sample size needs to be big.
Right.
The science needs to be solid. It needs to be
Right.
peer-reviewed and consistent. And it also needs to be better than the alternative.
Completely devoid of Terry. He cannot
Get
be
Terry
involved
the fuck
whatsoever.
out. He knows nothing.
Right.
He's clueless.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of people spending their lives very carefully studying that all the medicine that we've got and the techniques, everything are working. If a better one comes along, great, we'll switch to that now. That's better. That's progress. Saying they've used rosehip to heal people's bleeding eyes for thousands of years in the northern
Yeah.
mountains of the Hindu Kush. No, it doesn't matter. All right. The reason that they did it thousands of years ago is because they didn't have modern medicine. Saying it's really
That's
old,
right,
that means
yeah.
it's good. Fuck off. Fuck off.
I mean, it might have worked. It might have worked, but the fact of the matter is, back then, is that yeah, sure, maybe that like helped you temporarily, but then you just died at the age of like 25 anyway because we were without modern medicine, right? Like
I guess,
medieval
yeah.
times,
Could be that.
Like people
Yeah.
just lived in squalor and they died from like all sorts.
No one
of
cleaned
weird
their
shit.
teeth.
No,
Like,
they
everyone
used
was
to
like,
dump
toothless.
they used
by-
to dump their commodes like just out in the road, and people would
Yeah.
walk through them and like trudge all that shit back through their house, and they'd get
You know,
fucking
you know
diarrhea
what?
and die.
I've been meaning to talk about this for a while. I can't remember if we mentioned it on a previous podcast. If we did, I apologize. It's been a long time that we've been doing this, and occasionally the same topic repeats itself. But you go back in time, right? You're a time traveler. You go back
Right.
about
That was a really dramatic pause.
I know
Flax.
it was.
I'm setting the scene. You go back about 600-700 years. All right.
Right.
And
600-700. That's a long ass time,
it's a long
man.
time.
Like,
You've gone
I'm
way
just
back.
saying.
You've gone way back.
You're talking like pre-industrial revolution, everything.
Yeah, it's like 1300.
That's like
1300.
really,
yeah.
really long
it's like
time ago.
14th
Fuck.
century. It's proper old school. Okay.
Right.
You're walking
like
through
we're
a small
talking like
town.
the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria like times
Yeah.
now.
We're
You-
like
yeah,
in
so-
the Middle Ages.
Yeah, we are. So you're walking through town, a small village, somewhere
Right.
in rural Dorset, and you see a
right.
beautiful young woman. But ask yourself these questions before you think about indulging in some time travel.
What kind of currency are people using to trade?
They're still on money. They haven't moved up to sexual favors yet. It's still money.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Well, they're very backwards.
They're backwards people. First of all, she's gonna stink, isn't she? Let's be honest. She's gonna stink. Like really, really bad. They didn't have any
I don't
kind. They didn't
know.
bathe. They didn't bathe. Most people didn't
but
bathe.
women just have a pleasant smell about them anyway.
Not in-
like,
not in the
and this dates
1300s
back. No,
in rural
come on.
Dorset.
Even in the 1300s. Okay, like
No.
we're meant to believe that no, but even back then, like even the Egyptians had like perfumes and stuff. Perfume's been around for a long time.
Who were
man.
those for? Sips, my boy. Do you think the average Egyptian dude that just ran like a papyrus stall, do you think he can afford perfume? It's for the wealthy. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
the
but
wealthy. I'm
maybe-
talking about your average girl in the street, girl next door. She's an apple farmer, right? She's out in the sun all day.
How old is she?
She's 22.
Wow, she's like really past her.
She's pretty
getting
much
married.
past her best.
What's going
Okay,
on?
but are
Yeah.
we talking about this in the context of you time traveling?
She's gotta be
Or are we
seriously
just saying,
ugly.
Imagine you lived back in this time because it's all
Oh, no,
relative,
I'm not
right?
back
You don't
there.
know
I'm
any
saying-
better, so
I'm
you don't
saying
give
time
a fuck.
travel. Right, but that's my point. People talk about time travel.
She's unmarried though,
Oh,
right?
okay, you're actually talking about like
Constantly,
coming from
constantly about
the age-
time traveling sex adventures.
I'm
and
very
all I'm
interested
saying
in
is,
this girl.
you're
Can I have
thinking
more
about it.
information?
What do you want to know?
You're
wanna
talking
know-
about people being used to the age of like hygiene and self grooming,
No, you're
going
not.
back to a time
no,
where none
that's
of
not
that
what I'm
existed.
talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
Does she still live with her parents? Because she probably has to bathe in the same tub once a week after the dad's
After
gone.
dad,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
So she's in
Yeah.
dad's old bathwater. If they have a bath, a lot of people wouldn't have done. Maybe occasionally she takes a dip in the river. But I mean,
Right.
all right. So second of all, she's going to be hairy as fuck, like everywhere, like super hairy.
Ah, I don't mind that. I don't
Whoa,
mind that.
that's fine by
Really?
me.
Natural
goodness.
hairiness. I've got a soft spot for that for sure.
Well,
Or
wow.
I should say
Well.
a hard spot for that.
It's going to be hairy and smelly.
Man, I don't think it's that bad.
She's
I don't
not
think
French.
it's that bad.
This is England.
You're,
T-flax.
you're mocking Lewis's only having one tooth, right? This woman's lucky to have any teeth. By 22,
Howdy, girlie.
her teeth are going to be snaggled.
Want some apples, young man? Actually, no. I just wanted to have sex. You up for that? Jeez.
Well, I haven't bathed in 10 years. Climb
And
aboard.
I'm hairy as fuck, young man. But if you wanna jump my bones, then
You want a hairy, smelly ride? I'm right here. Mind my tooth.
it smells like a dog kennel down there. But you're up for
Oh
it.
Jesus!
All I'm saying is the doc did not warn Marty about the risks of time travel. If he'd gone back too far and had to have sex with, instead of his mother, someone
Yeah.
else, you never know what might have happened. He might have been seriously
I don't-
disappointed.
I don't know. I think people throughout history have always been very conscious of this, and I think they've done their best to wear clean things and stay clean.
Yeah.
I don't think,
Yeah.
sure, like if it was a hot summer day and she'd been like really sweating her ass off picking apples all day.
Oh,
and
the human adult body is pretty smelly though. Like, you
Yeah.
have to do a lot to keep on top of that stench. Like,
But
you know,
some
there's-
people like it a bit raw and ready, and it's like a fresh sweat isn't actually that bad. It's more like day old sweat is bad.
old stale sweat. That's the stinky stuff for
That's
sure.
the bad. That's the bad.
Especially
place.
if you've got like a couple of rolls and stuff as well, and it just gets stuck in there. You can't wash in there and stuff. And then
Why is she
it's
carrying
just
rolls?
stinky.
I thought she was an Apple salesman.
Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe she's
she
like,
baker as
maybe
well?
she's branching out. She wants to make
Hey,
maybe she was
branching.
pioneering apple pies, maybe
Good thinking. Good thinking.
apple
Sis.
strudels.
No, so I don't even know how we got into this line of discussion, but
Yeah, Flax, I think you're full of shit, man. I don't care. If somebody's a little bit smelly or hairy, like, she might be fucking hot. Who
You
cares?
know what? You
Like,
can't afford to
some
be
of us
choosy.
can't be.
You can't
Some-
be choosy.
some
You ain't got,
beggars
you
can't
ain't
be
got a
choosers,
fucking
P-Flax.
gallbladder, and you've only got 2 fucking teeth, so no wonder you guys are happy to jump a smelly, hairy medieval woman. You couldn't fucking
Yeah.
wait. I'm a high-class Twickenhamite, all right? I got
That's
choices.
where
Well,
I come
yeah.
from. I'm a freak of nature, baby. I'm missing my gallbladder. You know what that is? No? All right, let's do it.
Oh, Mr. Sips!
Oh my
I've
goodness.
never seen a man without a gallbladder before.
Tell me more about brushing your teeth. That sounds like the work of the devil, sir.
Oh my goodness me, sir! Have you been shaving yourself, sir? You're bald as a baby down there.
Why, sir?
Oh god. Why do we always talk about shaving like all the time? What the fuck is wrong with us?
We're men.
Pyrion
Like,
likes to have a bald. He's got a bald head. He's bald across his whole
yes.
body.
I guess. Yeah.
No,
Pyrion
no,
loves the
I'm
bald
hairy
baldy.
everywhere else. I've got a hairy chest, hairy arms, hairy balls, the whole
Fucking
whole
don't
thing.
show off.
Hairy
Don't
legs.
show off.
I'm wearing shorts today. Get a lot of these hairy fucking pins. I'd go me and that medieval girl side by side. She'd be appalled at the wearing of shorts. Shorts! Why? What's the world coming to? Is shorts? Oh my!
I know they gotta have like their dresses right down to their ankles, like back in those
so
days,
do you know what
right?
that means? Hot,
Yeah,
sweaty, unwashed,
Oof.
stank. They're gonna smell like the homeless. Basically, if you go back in time, medieval time travel, fuck with the apple seller, it's gonna be like fucking a homeless woman. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Okay.
Just consider it.
Well,
Well, I mean, some people are up for that, though. I'm just saying. Like,
Are you into that? Do you know what that's a branch of pornography that I haven't seen catching on? Ugly people. Like, where's that category?
I think that's amateur, actually.
No,
I
but
think
you get
that's-
some good-looking amateurs. What I'm
kinda
saying is,
go
I want a
like-
category. When you look at the categories, it's like, you know, you've got all of them A to Z. I want ugly, just a category of ugly
just
people.
ugly. I'm sure you can find it. Like,
Maybe.
I mean, there's like all sorts of porn if you really put your mind to it and look around.
It must
Like,
be
you can find
someone's thing. It
some
must
great
be someone's
stuff,
thing.
yeah.
Damn, look how ugly
What
they
is
are.
it?
Well, look at all the Overwatch porn there is. I mean,
Not again.
I know
Not
we've
again.
talked about this before,
Yes,
but like
we
it's
have.
true. You know, if there's Overwatch porn, I feel like there's going to be porn on anything. There's probably porns of people fucking like their fridge and stuff. Like,
You know, some of the weirdest stuff is the stuff with people who are into inflating things. Like, there are these guys who get inside a rubber suit and then you plug it into like a thing and it pumps up and they can't move. Like, they're
Yeah,
stuck
what's
in
up with
a
that?
small
That's
corridor.
weird.
I mean, I feel like that would kind of remind you of being born, right? You're stuck in a very tight place and you can't
how
move.
do you know though? What's your journey to
Yeah,
that? Like,
yeah.
how do you go from not having inflatables to then all of a sudden getting off on being inflated and inflatables? Like,
Oh,
what?
it's a very incremental, weird path that they take, though, I suppose.
Started
It's
off
like
with balloon
anything.
animals, really
Yeah.
got turned on
Yeah.
by balloon animals, and then I guess one day they were in a rubber ring at the seaside, and they thought, I'm really into this.
I'm really fucking
Way
this.
more
Wow.
into this than I
I
am
have
into
an enormous boner in this
Holy
rubber
shit,
ring.
I cannot contain
this
it.
is incredible.
Clear the beach, everybody. I'm fucking this. But like, seriously, like, how does that develop though? Like, where do you get
I think it's literally like that.
It's so prop heavy. It's not like just going to the bathroom and just like knocking one out, you know, like you got to have a pump and like fucking all these like different things. And
you got to pray to
get
God no one walks in
inflated
on
and
you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like, how do you get a house to yourself for that long to do all that?
I
That's
think if
crazy.
you're into that, that's not really a concern. Like, if your
Yeah.
fetish is inflating yourself inside a suit so that you can't move in a tight corridor, I'm pretty sure you're alone in the first place. So.
Yeah, maybe I'm coming at it from the wrong angle. Like,
all your housemates will be coming in, people calling, hey,
Yeah.
how's it going, Terry? Oh, Terry's fucking inflated himself. Why am I obsessed with the word Terry today? What happened? I'm going to Google Terry. By the way,
Terry.
rest in peace, Roger Moore. So Roger Moore.
oh yeah, shit, yeah, he passed away. Fucking, he had a good old long life though. He was like in his 80s and stuff when he passed away.
89,
Still sad. Yeah.
But
like,
this guy posted a story which I thought was really good. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so this is a story about Roger Moore. Hold on.
Right.
One of the things he sort of said he wanted to be most remembered for was his work for UNICEF,
Yeah.
which is quite a nice thing, I guess, because a lot of these people who are extremely famous for being a certain thing, like
James
Arthur Conan
Bond.
Doyle for Sherlock Holmes, and
Like a
obviously,
cultural icon, yeah.
yeah, like they all sometimes they feel this pressure to try and make up for or do something else with their life that isn't that cliched, popular thing they're known for. And I think he worked for like 20, 30, 40 years as this UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador.
I pioneered modern medicine and I completely revamped the way that people live their lives. And but honestly, I hope that people remember me for my obsession with inflating myself and masturbating. That's what I want to be remembered for, really.
Well,
not for all the good
obviously,
stuff I
that's
did.
what you'd want. But-
Yeah.
And all right, so here's the story. This guy, he's 7 years old, and he's going through the airport in Nice. I'm gonna
Nice.
summarize it. He sees Roger Moore there reading a paper, right? So he asks his granddad to go over and get the autograph. He was too shy to do it himself. Granddad comes back with the autograph, and he looks at it, and it says Roger Moore, and the kid's gutted. He's like, why doesn't it say James Bond? Like, he's James Bond. He's not Roger Moore. Like, what's up with that? So he goes up. The granddad goes up to Roger Moore and says, "I'm afraid you've signed the wrong name. My grandson says you signed the wrong name. It should say James Bond." And Roger Moore beckons the kid over and says, I have to sign my name as Roger Moore because otherwise Blofeld might find out that I was here. So don't tell anyone that you saw James Bond. Please keep my secret. Now, this is where the story gets really good, okay? This is years later. He's working on this recording for UNICEF. He's like a scriptwriter. He's doing stuff for them. Roger Moore does a piece to camera. He's like an ambassador and everything. And he tells Roger Moore the story. And Roger Moore says, I don't remember it, but I'm glad you got to meet James Bond. And that was the end of it. And then this is what he did. After filming, walking past Roger Moore in the corridor. And as they get level, Roger Moore stops. He looks both ways. And he says, of course I remember our meeting in Nice, but I didn't say anything in there because those cameramen could be working for Blofeld. I thought that was amazing. Like, if that is a true story, that is just so good.
That is so great. Holy shit.
Oh, God. That's great.
That's really funny.
That was a guy told
What
that
a
story
guy.
on Twitter. It was so good. Someone should be able to find it. But yeah, it was a good one.
I think those little moments, those little anecdotes, really kind of, it's the little details in them, isn't it? It's the little kind of, it's just so warming, such a better way to remember someone than a catalogue of what films they did
100%,
or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
He could have been so shitty about it too, and I was actually expecting it to go shitty. You signed the wrong name, and he could have just gone off on one and been stroppy about it, and been like, "Well, I'm not James Bond, I'm Roger Moore," and stuff. But that's so cool. That's such a down to earth.
Very cool
thing to do, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. If you don't hear bad stories about Roger Moore, people saying, "Oh, he was a real shit." For instance, Sean Connery. If you look on YouTube, you can find a conversation that he did. I think it was in the 70s. Or maybe the early 80s, where he's talking about sometimes a woman just won't shut her mouth and you've got to slap her one. That's like his interview that he did on TV.
Nice.
Sometimes she just won't shut up and you've just got to slap her in the face. Shut up.
Sometimes you just got to slap a bitch.
Sometimes. Is Sean Connery going to have to slap a bitch?
Sometimes she's just really hairy down there and really stinky, and you just have to tell her to, just get in that river and strip all your clothes off.
Wash yourself.
And then bake me a fucking apple pie, bitch. Jesus.
Oh,
Drop those apples and pick up a bick, for fuck's sake. Jesus.
Bick yourself, woman.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, well, so Roger Moore, I'd still stand by that. I mean, the fact is, when you die when you're 89 of, whatever ends up killing you, it's probably still better than dying at, the age of 52 from, an accidental overdose or something like that. You know what I mean? It's always a bit more tragic when somebody's younger and,
I see what you mean.
It's kind of shitty, and especially when you hear that a child has passed away or whatever, you're like, oh fuck, that's horrible. That's the worst one, isn't it? It's not only does it suck so bad for the kid who never got to live much life, but man, it sucks so fucking bad for the parents. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I would fucking kill myself. I would. I could not live knowing that my kids died. Fuck, that would be awful.
Yeah, it's the
worst goddamn thing.
I feel like it's almost like when someone dies, when they're 89, it feels almost to me like it's the end of a book where you're sad, but it's the end of a chapter. End of a book. You've seen everything. Whereas when someone dies, sure, it's almost like, well, there could have been so much more in that book, so many things that we never saw. Whereas when someone comes to the end of their life, naturally you feel like, well, that was, they did everything that they were going to do.
We understand that eventually it is going to happen to everybody. You understand, but like you said, I think that's a good analogy. The end of a good book, it's got a good, good closing, and yes, it does end sadly.
Sometimes you do feel that little sadness that it's over.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah. Finish a good book, you finish that last page, you close it, and you realize I'm never going to be able to really read that book again.
I know. Yeah, so lots of. Well, on the topic of books, I haven't read a book in a long time.
You couldn't even say it. That's how bad it's been.
It's I'm fucking dribbling mess at this point. But no, I hadn't read a book in a while. Because I play a lot of video games.
Yeah, no need to make excuses. We understand.
But I picked up Red Rising because you kept going on about it, saying it was super good. So I actually went to go get it from the library, and they didn't have it because we were at the library with the kids. So I was like, maybe I'll check for Red Rising. They have it.
Right.
So I went and bought it. I actually bought. I didn't even get it for like a tablet or anything. I actually bought a paper book, and it's nice. It's actually just nice to hold a paper book and read a paper book. And holy shit, Red Rising is really fucking good. Wow. I cannot put it down. I'm reading it like everywhere in the bath. Dude. Like I'm reading it while I'm fucking cooking dinner and stuff. Like it is really good. I like it a lot.
That was it. It was just, and it's
part of a trilogy,
that.
right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it literally gets better and better. It literally gets better and better. It is so fun. It is one of those things you're just like, oh shit, just one more chapter. Like I haven't had a book like that in such a long time.
No, I've picked up so many books and they've just not held me at all. And I've been really disappointed lately. I've read a bunch of things and just been like, ugh, this is a slog.
There's not enough anime in the fucking
I don't know, maybe I've been spoiled by some of the things though. We always talk about how much we like Brandon Sanderson.
I watched anime and now I just can't read anything.
None of these characters have tentacles. None of them are none of them can punch someone and kill them with a single blow. I don't know what I'm reading anymore.
I only read a book where the main hero has no gallbladder. I will not read a book unless the gallbladder hero.
I'm getting so fucking angry I can't even speak anymore.
And another thing.
Oh my god. No, but yeah, so like I can totally fucking recommend Red Rising. If you've never read it before, I don't even find it too sci-fi heavy, you know? Like I was telling my wife about it. My wife does not like sci-fi. Like she does when I try to talk to her about space and like how amazing it is that the sun, like the power of the sun reaches us, it's super far away and stuff. She's like, "Oh, fucking shut up. Like I don't care about any of this stuff." Like, just, I don't want to talk about this. I'm like, okay, fine. But I told her about this book. I was like, there's no, like, he doesn't pull out his reverse photon 3929-D defibrillator thing or whatever. Like, it's all, like, kind of, it's just, like, a really cool story. And she's like, I might read that after you're done. So,
this sounds like a sideways insult to Bodega, quite honestly. This sounds like you're having a pop.
Whoa,
are you having a fucking pop at Bodega?
No, I'm fucking not, okay? Jeez. Like, if I was going to say that I didn't like Bodega, I would just come up straight up and I'd say, I fucking hate Bodega. Like,
you wouldn't have the guts.
I would not mince my words about that.
I don't think you're offended by this P-Flex, are you?
I'm just fucking around.
So, oh my God. I'm loving stuff. It's the weather, really, right? It's like... Being at like you were at this morning on a spot. What were you doing this morning, Sips?
Yeah, a sponsored walk with a class of 45-year-olds. Wow, that was really fun.
45-year-olds. What are they doing?
40 individual 5-year-olds.
Right, yeah.
Oh, fuck. I think kids just want to kill themselves. Like it's crazy. They have no sort of concept of what's going on around them ever. Like with the amount of people that need to help a column of 40 kids get like down a pedestrian walkway to like an objective and then back is staggering. It's crazy. Like so many people need to get involved to like stop cars and like put their arms up when the kids cross the road.
Right.
Have to help them with their snacks and stuff when we get to the place because they're tired. They have to have some water and some snacks and stuff. And then you have to bring them back. I mean, it was a nice day and everything, but man, I'm glad I don't have 40 kids. Like that was
How far did they walk?
Like half a mile, maybe. It took like 3 hours. Like it was crazy.
So it was just. Did you sponsor anyone? Did you sponsor your own kid? How does it work?
Yeah.
Did you get any sponsors?
We sponsored him, and then like all of our family members and some of our neighbors. You sponsored him as well. Just FYI. Okay. A couple of other people, you know. And so he did pretty good. Like he finished the walk, but it's not really about that anyway. But I think they're trying to save up for like a new fucking, I don't know, like a trampoline or something. I don't know what the fuck they're going to use the money for. But anyway, they do one every year. They raise money and they get something cool like for the kids at the school sort of thing. So it's like worth doing and stuff, but man.
This year we're going to spend all the money on an autograph from the legendary Rushmore. We heard that We heard that some of the members of the class were big fans.
Yo, and he's really
I
fun to get
personally-
an autograph from. He put some RP into it and stuff. Hey, it's great. It's worth every penny.
Man, just go back to what I was saying before about sunshine, though. Man, it's nothing like reading a real book in the sunshine because you just can't
You
do
like
it
to
on,
read outside?
iPad.
I don't know
Yeah,
about
Oh,
that.
I
dude.
hate it. The sun bounces off the page. I've got to squint. I'm either looking into the sun so the sunlight isn't hitting the page, or I've got the book with the sun hitting it. It's
But is
blinding
it
me.
possible to read on any kind of normal?
No, I
you
think
know-
those Kindle thingies work, don't they?
Well, I don't know.
Because that looks like
used a
paper
Kindle,
anyway.
though.
You ever seen one of those things? That's like magic.
I disagree, Lewis. As much I like the sun as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to be sitting out there for too long. Like I don't want to get burnt. It's too hot. It's kind of
you just
kind
walked
of
3
uncomfortable
hours
and
in it.
stuff.
What are you talking about?
I know. But I didn't have a choice in that. I'm not going to go out of my way to sit outside and read a book when I
That's
can just
Sips'
do it,
entire
like,
sunshine quota for the year.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
You're done. You're ready for autumn again, aren't you?
pretty much now. Yeah.
Goddamn Canadian bastard.
The minute I get a little bit of sun, I'm done. Bring on the winter. Let's get back to like 6 months of gray drudgery, please. Like cold and gray, wet, damp. It's so damp over here too.
Damn.
You know, you miss it after a while. You just think like, fuck all this sun. Let's get back to that shit. That's great.
Do you know what I watched on TV last night? You don't, but I'll tell you. I watched a show called Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Horrors or Hotel Hell.
Oh, God.
Have you heard of this show?
Is this the one where he goes to America and goes to hotels?
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
always like family-run hotels that are
Yeah.
just total garbage
Awful.
and nobody stays at them?
I mean, the weird thing is, like, he goes to this hotel. It's in New Orleans, and
Right.
it's like right in the old town. So it's like it's a really historic building. Ulysses S. Grant stayed at this hotel, like, you know, obviously a while back, but
Yeah.
they bought it like recently, like 9 months ago. These 3 guys, they're like college friends or whatever. The guys must have been in their 30s, maybe early 40s, but I think more like 30s. And they bought this place, and none of them have a fucking clue how to run a hotel. The main guy, the guy that got most of the airtime because he was the biggest dickhead, he said he'd only stayed in a hotel maybe 20 times in his life. And he
Right.
thinks, a hotel, that's what we'll do. And they bought this historic building, and they just had no idea how to run it. They just wanted to go to the bar. So every night the bar opens, stays open until ultra late. Gordon Ramsay's upstairs in one of the rooms, and all you can hear is people screaming downstairs in the bar. And then there's a garden outside the bar, and people are there in the garden drinking and shouting. You can hear the street, and the rooms are right next to that garden. So anyone in that room just has people reveling all night long and just screaming, like, "Wah!" You know the way Americans do when they get really drunk? Woo!
Yeah.
Like all that kind of stuff. They love a good old
Yeah.
woo.
They like doing whooping a lot,
They
don't they?
do. They really do.
Americans love a whoop.
Americans are really into whooping and
I mean, you just don't
shouting
get
and
that
stuff.
over here. But you go out
No,
in
no.
the States, you really do hear a lot of woo like that.
No, I just think like British people are just a lot more confrontational, but they're not necessarily yelling. They're like, "Did you just look at my bird and then headbutt you in the face?"
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like
I mean, you're
that.
gonna get that.
That's not. Yeah.
But you get bar fights in the States as well, definitely. But these guys,
more whooping.
they didn't have any general manager. They just were all in charge of a different section. So this guy's in
Right.
charge of the bar. This guy's in charge of the
Nice.
food, and this guy's just the front of house guy. But there's no
Right.
GM, and none of them had eaten the food in the restaurant. Okay, so they were talking about when was it? Gordon Ramsay ordered the food. It was disgusting, obviously, and he said to the guys, the two other guys, "Have you ever eaten your head chef's food?" And they were like, "Oh no, never have, absolutely never have." But I know
It's
he's
disgusting.
fantastic. You're gonna love it.
Oh,
And Gordon Ramsay
yeah.
was like, "No, I've had it. It was fucking awful. Like it was so bad." And they just never eat it. How do you do that? Like, you don't even need to know how to run a restaurant or a hotel to know that you should probably taste your own food. It just blew my mind.
Hotel food is never that great, though, to be fair, is it?
I don't. Well, I mean, come on. When we went,
We had
went to
this conversation
BlizzCon,
last week, though, Sips, and I think you're one of those people who doesn't know. Like, do you know what I mean, P-Flax? You were talking about how people say, oh, you know, the food's great here. Sips, you like what you like, and you like margarita pizzas,
right? Yeah,
and like pasta,
hummus,
and chips,
cheese,
and cheese.
baked beans. I like those too. Wow, do I ever like them? I like a good salad as well. I don't
That's
know,
true.
man. When we played, we stayed at the Marriott when we went to BlizzCon, and we ate lunch there a couple times. The food was fucking good, man.
Actually, that's okay. Yeah, that's
I
true.
really liked it. Like they had a good spread.
So yeah, so
Great
some
portion
hotels
size.
can definitely
It's nice.
have, but I mean most hotels, unless they had like a dedicated restaurant that had like I always think if you've got a restaurant attached to a hotel, like a lot of them have, It's
It
going
has to be an external.
Yeah, it's got to
one.
be
It can't
open externally. If it's literally this is just for guests, it's not going to be great. Because honestly, what choice have you got? Like you're in the hotel.
No, and I don't think I've ever ordered like room service food that I thought was good. Right?
Yeah, it's just it's functional. You know, it just does.
It'll
what it
be
does.
functional. It'll be like chips and a basic sandwich. You know, but you can't get anything that's. You know, I'd never order a fucking anything nice. I'd never order a sushi or a steak on room service. Or do you know what I mean? Like anything that was vaguely upmarket at all.
Like the grilled cheese or something.
Yeah, I'll get like that maybe. Yeah, and it's just not worth any risk on like anything.
But
else.
then do you think that maybe your expectations are like too high in that case? Because like. I mean, if you're just going to order like a margarita pizza, I mean, it's just a margarita pizza, right?
No,
like,
it's not.
It's not meant to change your life. Like,
no, but
it's
there's some food
meant
like,
to keep you going for a couple hours.
Have you ever had a margarita pizza that you thought this is fantastic, rather than just that was the default margarita pizza? That was what I was expecting.
Every time I eat a margarita pizza, literally, I'm like, this is fantastic. Because normally I'm pretty hungry at the time. I'm fucking ready to devour that margarita pizza. So yeah, every time I eat one, I'm like that.
You're a simple man.
I don't know if I'm simple. I think I'm a realistic guy. Like, some people live to eat. I just eat to live.
That's a shame. Food's great, dude. Like, I love it. If you go for
it
a
is
really
great.
good meal.
I like it, but like, I'd rather spend my time doing like other stuff. Sometimes I find eating a bit of a pain in the ass. Like some days I'm like, I wish that we could just like, inject ourselves with something that would just keep us like nourished for like a week or something.
That's,
so I wouldn't have to cook any
that's a
meals or
question I
whatever.
ask Mrs. Flax quite often, because she really loves food, right? She's a real foodie. She loves restaurants and all that kind of stuff. And I said to her, if you, like, I ask her these questions all the time. If you could never do X again, but we can stay together. And if you want to ever do X again, we have to get married. Would you stay with me? I ask her those sort of questions. They're very tedious for her, but it amuses me greatly. So the one thing I say to her is, would we still be married if in order to stay married, you could only consume a life-sustaining gruel, like a thin gruel, that was the only choice of food that you had for the rest of your life? Nothing else. You could never have any other food again, just the gruel, but we get to stay together. She pauses for a troublingly long amount of time, but she does eventually decide that we can stay together.
Weighing it up.
She's thinking about it, because she's thinking, Jesus, like never been able to have good food again, just the gruel every day for the rest of my life. And I worry if this ever comes to pass, which I'm sure it will she at some point come to resent me, and she'll think you're not worth the gruel. The gruel, I changed my mind. Like, we'll have an argument one day and she'll be like, do you know what? Fuck this. I want some ice cream. We're getting a divorce. I'm sick of the gruel. I do worry.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with food. The type of foods that you eat and certain foods really contribute to your well-being, but like you're like, not just that, like your general mood, everything, right? Like the healthier you eat, it's more boring, but you feel so much better in so many ways, right? And that's why that's why like a lot of the top chefs will like really dress up and tart up like healthy foods, like they'll make them super good to eat and like a pleasant experience to eat, and then you feel really good and stuff like that. I think you would just get like instantly depressed if you were eating something unpleasant all the time and you never had like any other options, sort of thing. I'm not saying that I want to eat unpleasant food. Like if I could just eat like a very pleasant space paste, or like drink like a really nutritious chocolate milkshake like 3 times a day, I would do it, because I'm so fucking lazy. I don't want to prepare anything. Half the time, like, I don't even really want to open the fridge and deal with what's in there. Like, I just like, give me a capsule or something that I can just swallow, and then boom, I'm fed for like a week.
Lewis, you like food, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a lover of food.
Oh yeah, food.
Oh.
Oh yeah, forget about it. Food.
Oh, you're crazy.
You talk about food? Oh yeah. Me and food.
Well, it's like one of the only things, if James Bond was here right now, he'd say, like, he was like listing them on his fingers. He'd be like, fast cars, faster women, and slow food.
Slow food, yeah.
Slow food.
Would you guys one thing that I would love to do is have somebody come in and cook meals. And this is like a common thing apparently in India, okay? It's like I used to work with a guy from India who was over here in Jersey. He was like on a secondment for a couple of years, like working at the bank and stuff. And he said back home, they would have like lots of like dolls, and they'd have like, lots of curries and stuff like that. But he lived with like 3 other guys, and what they did was they all chipped in, and some dude would come to their house every day and prepare just a ton of food to like see them through the day or whatever. And he said it was fucking amazing. Like this guy was just like a really good cook, like really good chef, made like all this really healthy stuff. It was like tasted delicious. It was like super nice. He'd like, he'd prepare it like hot, and if some of them didn't feel like eating, then they could just like have it later or whatever and stuff.
God, it's like lunches for a few days worth as well.
Oh man, I would be up for that.
Holy
okay,
shit.
I could really get into food if that was the case, but I don't know how much that costs.
Guaranteed that dude's jizzing in that food. I'm just saying. I'm just calling it right now. Guaranteed.
Whoa, no.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's preparing it right in front of them, so some of them have to know that this is happening.
Also, that's a key element of the spicy flavor.
Yeah.
As a connoisseur, I can a
What's
little bit of
the
jizz.
secret sauce made of? My spicy jizz. Really?
Fantastic.
Yes. Whoa, okay. Well,
My compliments to your balls. Mwah. Fabulous.
Well, I mean, it's people eat all sorts of horrible shit. So quite honestly, like I'm surprised there isn't like a sought after spice.
Yeah.
Like it's got it's a real sort of quiet taste, but it's got a real piquancy.
There's that French dish. It's like a stew or something that has to have shit in it. That's one of the ingredients.
What do you mean?
Human shit is one of the ingredients in the dish.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's true. But they also eat a thing called, I think it's called the ortolan, which is like a tiny baby bird that they stuff it with food so much. I think it might even be foie gras or something that they force feed this thing. So it's just like a ball of fat that also has feathers on it. And then you eat it like whole. You just put the whole thing in your mouth. And because the beak and the claws are still on there, it scratches up your gums, and the taste of the blood from your cut up mouth adds to the flavor. Like the French, they've gone too far. They've gone too far.
Well, you know what it's like. It's like the inflation fetish thing, though. Again, right? It's like 1%, or not even 1%, like 0.001% of people, but it gets more publicity because it's so extreme or it's so gross and so weird. Because we just question it. I think what's more gross is like, leaving milk in a flipping thing with some mold and letting it go increasingly moldy. And then going, oh, lovely, Stilton. Oh, it tastes so delicious. Look, I'm just shoveling it down your face. Like, is sour, fungus, moldy milk. Like, how is that? Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people find that really gross. But we're totally accepting of cheese, aren't we?
You got a problem with cheese?
Yeah. Hey, one time I was in France, okay? This is when I used to eat meat. And we always struggle, like when we go to France, because my wife back then was still a vegetarian. I wasn't quite a vegetarian, but even then, French food can be very different depending on the region of France that you're in, right? So we went to this restaurant. We were really hungry. It took forever to find something that like my wife could get that didn't have meat in it or whatever, but we found something. And then I was super hungry, and I was just like, I want something like kind of familiar. So I'll get like this sausage and chips, right? But it's like a blood sausage. But I didn't realize it at the time. Like I thought it was just going to be like a normal kind of sausage and like some chips or whatever. So I ordered this thing, and I'm super hungry, and I'm waiting, and we're just talking and stuff. And then
I love how you go to the most posh French restaurant.
It wasn't even really. But
I will have the sausage and chips,
but
please.
I was desperate. I was not feeling adventurous at all. I was just hungry. Like I just wanted something somewhat familiar. I just needed to eat, sort of thing. Waiter comes out with this plate with this sausage on it, and he puts it down. And instantly, this smell hits me. And for a split second, I was like, fuck me. This guy hates English people, and he's done a dump on my plate. Like, I actually thought he shit on my plate. Like, I thought he's being, like, really rude or something, and I had to, like, do a double take. And I was like, oh, my God. And then I tried this thing, and oh my God, it was... Oh, fuck. I just ate the chips. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, it was so fucking bad. Holy shit.
Oh,
and, like,
shame.
I'm starving right now.
Yeah, go get some blood
has really
sausage.
set me off because, man, I could really just get a whole blood sausage. Well, my mouth's quite small though, so I maybe got the whole thing.
Small blood sausage.
Once.
Yeah, just a really tiny one.
But like, I could nibble on it.
like a cocktail. You need a cocktail blood sausage. And just do you have a small version of this?
Get a funnel and put it in Lewis's mouth and grind up the sausage into tiny pieces for his tiny little mouth. And
I'm starving now. Can we? we round this off? Because
I don't know, man. Like some food can fuck right off, in my opinion. Like I don't know. I think I can't believe that some people eat that stuff and they go on and on and on about it. And it's like, fucking just eat and just shut up about it. Christ.
I don't know. Food's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing, and I sort of became a bit vegetarian, and then I did vegan for January, and that was really hard. And then I sort of went back to being vegetarian, and I tried lots of different things, and then recently I was in a few sort of restaurants. We went out for dim sum, and I was like, man, I just can't just have the vegetarian options. I've got to try some of these things. It was quite nice. It was quite nice to eat a little bit of meat again, just because I don't know, it's like a treat kind of thing. But no, I think being a vegetarian is really healthy. I'm definitely trying to do it as best I can. And man, there's so many vegetables. I've got a new little garden. I'm going to plant some. I've got some plants I plan to plant in it.
Nice.
I've got some bulbs. I've got some little trees. Yeah, so I'm moving to a new flat in like a week.
Oh yeah, where are you?
Nice.
Yeah, congrats.
So, and it's got a little garden, and so I'm looking forward to planting that up with some summer veg and just seeing how that goes. It's
Nice.
one of my goals. But yeah, I've been cooking lots of different things, cooking with weird stuff, drinking lots of weird like teas and stuff. There's like a new health food shop nearby that's like quite cool.
There's nothing cool about a health food shop, but that does sound good for you.
I'd say about half the things I cook are disgusting and inedible. But some of them are like, wow, that actually was pretty good. And, I got some shiitake mushrooms the other day, cooked those up, and man, they were really fucking nice, actually.
Good.
And it surprised
really
me.
Fucking awful. Holy
Really?
crap.
Oh.
They were just disgusting.
But yeah, I know a lot of people, because I used to hate mushrooms, right?
I know a lot of people.
A lot of people hate mushrooms for because they don't like the texture, they don't like the flavor, they don't like blah blah blah. But it's like the same thing with olives as well. That olives, a lot of people don't like olives, but olives are such a spectrum, and so are mushrooms, that you can have like something completely different. And so you shouldn't just dismiss all. It's like you had a bad one once, sure, but that doesn't mean all of them are like that. Anyway. I love the mushroom, and I think that I was watching this documentary about these guys who prepare sort of vegetables as the main dish. So rather than having like a big chicken leg or a big old whatever steak, they cook up a really nice squash or a carrot as like a main dish.
They sound like great company and a ton of fun. I'd love to get them over for a fucking vegetable barbecue one time.
Wait, so you have to eat meat to be fun? What the fuck? Like you have to what? You just have to slap down some shitty processed meat on a barbecue to have fun? What the fuck?
I like how Sips is mocking me. Sips, you are the worst vegetarian. I think I visited you for a week and we didn't eat a single vegetable, unless you count chips, which are not a vegetable.
Well, they technically are, but
it was like all cheese, pasta, pizza, like some salads, sure, but like vegetables wise.
So instantly we did eat some vegetables. Great, I'm glad that you admitted that. So sorry, what was your point?
I love how you're not on my side here, as you're like a I don't know, like a half-assed vegetarian.
No, Sips's problem was that I claimed that you have to eat meat to have fun. And all I'm saying is that if I had some people around for dinner, or I went to someone's house for dinner, and they said, we're doing a roast, and I was like, fantastic. And they said, here it is, and presented a roast squash. I would punch him in the fucking balls. I would punch him in the fucking balls.
You would not hit the wall. You'd be fine. It would be great. I
would say
it probably tastes pretty good.
I would take off my napkin and fold it neatly and place it on the table. I would rise from the table, and I would say, gentlemen, I have been lied to. You are a pair of mendacious vegetarians, and I'm leaving. And I would storm out.
But sir, this apple pie, I've just cooked it freshly for you.
Oh, sir, you must try my apple pie. It might have a few hairs in it.
Just for you.
You get this a lot though, as a vegetarian. Like they get such a bad rap for no reason. Like there's plenty of vegetarian meals that are really, really nice. They're really good. And people just assume that you're just some weird fucking tree hugger because you don't want to eat like fucking shitty mass-produced
I think
processed
the main
meat.
problem
But
I've got
I think people that eat that shit are the people who have a fucking issue.
First of all, the assumption that vegetarians always make is that somehow everyone that eats meat eats the worst raised, shittiest quality meat that you can. Like, just dragging baby chicks out of a battery farm and shoveling them in our blood-soaked faces.
I'd say like 80% of the meat that you get in a grocery store is like that. So,
no, it's not.
I mean, unless you're sourcing from a local butcher that has like some fucking cows like out back that he slaughters freshly for you, you probably are eating that shit. So.
I would say it very much depends on what meat you're buying. I mean, if you're buying the 1 pound for 100 nuggets,
squash or an aubergine, that's unlikely to have been involved in some sort of massive animal cruelty situation,
but
is
I
it?
tell
Do you know what I mean?
I bet it tastes.
You know where that's fucking come from?
Just
Someone's
as good as a
grown it in
fucking
the fucking
steak,
ground.
doesn't it? Oh yeah, you know what I could go for now? Some roast aubergine. Oh, my mouth's watering. Or a juicy steak. How about that? Name one time anyone's ever thought, oh, I'm so hungry right now, I could really go for some corn. Corn me up.
Well,
I'm starving.
corn doesn't count, right?
No,
because it's not a fucking vegetable.
Yeah,
well, it's sort of made of tofu, but
it's tolerable. Nobody's saying that it's like as good as a steak.
You're wrong. You're as wrong as it gets. Meat's great. It's here to stay.
I mean, corn is the chicken nuggets of vegetarianism.
This is meat for the next 10 minutes. Meat.
You're like Rod Swanson.
I don't have a problem with vegetarians. I know loads of people vegetarians. We had a vegetarian live with us for about a month, I think, because he was up here. He was looking for a flat. He was my sister's boyfriend at the time, and we got. You know, have you heard of Yotam Ottolenghi? Right, he's like this. He cooks all this vegetarian stuff. His stuff was really good. You know, it was really good. We just had all this vegetarian food for dinner and everything. It was fine. I mean, geez, you don't miss meat that much, but I wouldn't want to do it full time. And I hate the way vegetarians have to go on and on. Not you, Sips. You're different. You're my kind of vegetarian, right? You're just like, oh, no, I don't eat meat. That's cool. But it's like you order some food and they're like, did you know the provenance of that meat? That cow suffered. Shut the fuck up. Come on.
I only bust those out when somebody starts to like make fun of the fact that I don't eat it. Because honestly, I could give less of a shit what anybody else eats.
I've never mocked your vegetarianism.
No, I know. But some people really go out of their way, and you think like, what the fuck is the problem here? Like, who cares what I'm eating? Like, I'm just fucking trying to get by, same as you, okay? You eat whatever you fucking eat. I'm just gonna eat whatever I fucking eat. It's not that interesting a fucking topic of conversation to begin with. Like, let's fucking talk about tits or something instead.
But who goes on about you being a vegetarian? Who's
a
ever done
guy I used to work with did a lot, and it was like it was pretty weird because he kept fucking going on about it. He was like obsessed with it, you know. Like he'd always have this smirk. Like every time we'd go to like a meal or something like that, he'd be like, "No, well, Sips isn't going to be able to get anything from here and stuff." Like it was always this big fucking deal, and I'd always just go along with it, be like, yeah, whatever.
Well, yeah, it's work. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, and then so he was like having some problems. He was like fucking sweating profusely, like just out of nowhere at work and stuff, and he thought he was like about to have a heart attack or something. He had to go to the doctor a bunch of times and stuff. And then he just did like a total reversal because he went to the doctor and the doctor's like, yeah, your cholesterol is like super fucking high. Like you're super unhealthy. You've got to stop eating meat basically. And he's like, oh, fuck, I can't eat meat anymore? And then, so he comes to work and he's all sheepish. He's like, I can't eat meat anymore. It's like, oh, well, that's fucking great, isn't it, asshole? Like, now you got to fucking eat the shit that I eat that you've been making fun of for like 3 fucking years, you intolerable prick. And then, so he had to. And it was really fucking funny. Like, he was like a broken man after that. It was really fucking great, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God, there's nothing worse than the asshole at work that you just have to see every fucking day. Everybody's got one.
I never had to deal with him much, which was nice. And when I did, I would just sort of ignore it or something. But man, people rose to that shit all the time and he loved it. You know, like he just wanted to fucking be in the middle of some drama, and he was just like, would love like winding people up and stuff. And he was just like, you can see why people get depressed working in office jobs, because there's always 1 or 2 guys like that in these places. Like they're just like, I don't know what's wrong with them, but like they just seem to really go out of their way to like make people's lives like an absolute misery at work sort of thing. And like, it's just crazy. Like, I'm so glad I don't have to work at an office. Oh,
yeah,
man,
God.
They really are the worst. Jesus. Like,
God, there was so many assholes that I've worked with over the years. Like, one of the important things it teaches you is tolerance. Like, if you have to just learn to put up with
people that you never thought you'd ever have to put up with.
Yeah. And you might have to sit next to them there at the next desk. Where, you know, you just have to deal with it. day in, day
or
out.
even worse, they're in charge of you, and you're like, what
that's
the
worst.
fuck? Holy shit! How is this guy telling me what to do? Like, that's the worst. But you have to put up with it.
That's why I never got on in any job I ever had. Was I would be fine with most of my colleagues, no problem, get on with them really well. But the person in charge, the person that you've got to take orders from, that always burned me up, man. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I'm a free spirit. This bird was not meant to be caged.
You know, in these movies, like especially in war movies, right? Like you have there's like a group of guys that are in like a battalion together or whatever, and they really respect like their sarge and they'll do anything for him and they'll risk their lives for him, and he's like super experienced and like knows what he's doing, and he leads them all really well and stuff. And I think if I worked at a job with a guy like that in charge of me, holy shit, like I would be like on the verge of sucking his dick all the time. Like I would have no problem with that. But the fact of the matter is, and the harsh reality is that mostly the people that are going to be in charge of you in an office are not skilled. They have no fucking managerial experience. They have no fucking people skills half the time. They don't know what they're fucking doing. Like, they can't even do their job, let alone manage you. But these are the people that have to like review your performance and stuff. And it's a really fucking, it's quite the pill to swallow sometimes, because you're just sitting there like, you're fucking managing my performance? Like, what the fuck do you do all day, asshole? Like, it's crazy. It's really nuts.
Amen.
I'm never going back. If all this ends tomorrow, I'll fucking go like work as a road sweeper or something.
I'll be homeless.
Before I go back to a fucking office.
Anything.
There's no fucking way.
Anything where I'm away from an office, I could.
Maybe you can be a freelance science fiction writer, publishing your works on the internet under the pseudonym
Buck Naked.
I wasn't really implying that. Is there a bodega today?
No, there's not, and I want to make a bodega announcement. There aren't going to be any more on the podcast.
Oh.
Okay.
Are they going to be standalone?
What the fuck are we going to fill the last like 20 minutes with then now?
Vegetarian stuff.
Right, okay.
For a balanced diet. Well, no, the stuff I write now is going in the book. The stuff I write now is going in the book. That's it.
Right,
I don't want anymore else.
Okay.
Well, I for one, I'm very excited. Thank you for listening to the Triforce podcast this week, everybody. I'm a bit sad to hear there's going to be no more bodegas on the podcast, but they did always feel a little bit tacked on, a little bit weird, a little bit unusual. It felt a bit weird having them. I think they deserve to be up front, if anything, We have to
figure out what we're going to replace it with. And if it's vegetarian recipes, I got a real zinger for you guys right now. Ready?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so what you do is you get a brick of halloumi, okay? You cut it up into little squares. You shove that in the frying pan. And then you cut up a whole bunch of peppers, okay? Green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, all the peppers. You put a bunch of those in the pan as well. Then you dice up an onion, okay? Then you put all of the onion into the pan too, and it's sizzling away there, and it's starting to smell really good. If you want to, optionally, boil up a little bit of rice on the side, and then like right as everything is like getting ready, like fried up in the pan and stuff, just chuck the rice in like a couple of minutes and stuff. Put all of it into a bowl when it's done. Oh, put some salt and pepper on there as well. It's pretty nice. Put it all into a bowl after it's all done frying up and stuff, and then get some soft tortillas, wraps, right? Okay. Dice up some tomatoes, get some lettuce. Man, like the best fucking meal you'll ever have, I'm telling you. So good. It's really good. Just make like some big fucking wraps.
That sounds good. If I'm going to leave every podcast like drooling, this is probably not gonna go so well for me.
It's so easy to make too. It takes like 10 minutes. Seriously,
that is good. You might not need a bit of too much salt because halloumi is quite salty.
Yeah, you can put some extra salt if you want.
And you could always add a little bit of spicy sauce or whatever floats your boat. That sounds like a top recipe though, Sips. I think that's kind of the thing I usually make when I'm over yours. Yeah. We are going to go. Thank you for listening, everybody.
All right.
And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
On Triforce Podcast.
Bye.
Goodbye.